Hello guys, and welcome to another series here where we talk about history of Nigeria. My name is Pearl Miracle, and I'm the founder of this amazing podcast, which we call the Digital Podcast, and also the Digital channel. So yes, we talk about historical content every once a month. And thank you to everyone who have been streaming. I think we started this series probably in October or November, and now we're in December. So thank you guys. Yeah, October. So today we'll be talking about the fight for freedom and Nigerian nationalism for the nation. The stroke of midnight on October 1, 1960 marked a moment of profound significance for millions across the globe as the Junior Jack was lowered and the green, white, green flag of Nigeria was hoisted. It wasn't just a ceremonial act, it was a culmination of decades of tireless struggle, strategic defiance, and a unified vision for self-determination. This was the triumph of the Nigerian nationalist movement. The seed of resistance early sparked colonial rule, despite its infrastructure development, fundamentally disrupted indigenous governance system, exploited resources, and imposed a foreign identity. While resistance never truly ceased, the late 19th and early 20th century saw the emergence of more organized form of opposition. Let's talk about the cultural preservation. Early nationalists often focus on preserving African languages, tradition, and pride against the colonial assimilation policy. The second one is anti-tax protests. Economic grievances such as the famous About Women riots of 1929 demonstrated powerful grassroots resistance to oppressive colonization taxation. Pan-Africanism influences from global Pan-African movements advocating for the unity and self-determination of all African people. It also fueled the nationalist fire. Now let's talk about the rise of organized nationalism, political parties, and powerful voices. In the mid-20th century, it witnessed a more structured and fervent push for independence. A new generation of educated Nigerians, many trained abroad, returned with a fierce determination to reclaim their nation's destiny. They formed a powerful political parties that transcended regional divides, initially to articulate a unified demand for freedom. Number one is Nnamdi Azikiwe, which is known as the Zik of Africa, a towering figure in West African Pilot newspaper who became a powerful voice for nationalist aspiration. He co-founded the National Council of Nigeria and the Cameroons, NCNC, advocating for a united, independent Nigeria. Obafemi Awolowo, a brilliant political strategy from the Western region. He founded the Action Group, AG, championing federalism and regional autonomy within a free Nigeria. Ahmadu Bello, the Saduna of Sokoto, leader of the Northern People Congress, NPC, focused on protecting the Northern interests while eventually aligning with the broader independence movement. These leaders, despite their differing regional priorities and visions for post-colonial Nigeria, shared the common unshakable goal of ending British rule. The road to independence, protests, reforms, and perseverance. The path was not without challenges. There were periods of intense political jostling, constitutional conferences with the British, and movement of civil disobedience, constitutional reforms. The British, facing increasing pressure and a changing global landscape post-World War II, began to introduce constitutional reforms that granted Nigeria more legislative power. But gradually, these reforms often serve as stepping stones, each one pushing the nationalists closer to their ultimate goal: unity in diversity. The ability of diverse ethnic and religious groups to rally under the banner of independence, despite internal differences, was a testament to the powerful allure of self-governance. October 1, 1960, the dawn of a new era. Finally, after years of fervent advocacy, protests, and political negotiation, the movement arrived at the race course, now Tafawa Balewa Square in Lagos. Amid jubilant celebration and fervent hope, Nigeria became a sovereign nation. The reins of power were officially handed over from colonial administrator to Nigerian leaders, signaling the start of modern Nigeria. This independence was not merely a political transition, it was a profound declaration of identity, a reclaiming of agency, and a beacon of hope for other African nations still under colonial yoke. It laid the foundation for Nigeria to take its place on the global stage, a journey that continues to evolve to this day. The story of Nigerian nationalist movement is a powerful reminder that freedom is hard-won, and it requires courage, unity, and unwavering belief in a nation's right to chart its own course. Now, another interesting thing you guys need to know is we have 1 month history training class, which is for 1 month. If you want to learn more about history, you can contact us on +234 814 748 0036. And if you like our historical content, just support us with a token on Stephanie. The link will be on the bio as well on the video. So let's do a summary. Now, we're going to talk about the fight for freedom in summary, and we are going to talk about the fact that it wasn't really that easy for Nigeria to actually gain independence. It came with so many, journeys. We are going to start with the fact that we needed to preserve our cultures, right? We needed not just to allow the colonialists, bring their own identity without we having our identity. And that is the reason why our culture is still preserved today. We are able to speak our language, we are able to dress in our culture, and we are able to eat our cultural food and other cultural practices like greetings and proverbs and a lot of things within our culture. Now, we were able to stop the taxation by the colonialism, which we have the About Women in 1929 that made a form of demonstration to fight against the oppression of colonial taxation. Now, we will move to Pan-Africanism. These kinds of influences was able to unite more other African people and fell a national fire to fight for their own independence. Now, we're going to talk about the 20th century. In the 20th century, we have amazing leaders, about 3 leaders, who were able to gain some level of education. They traveled abroad, they came back to Nigeria, and they said they needed to fight for their country. They were able to set up a political party. Nnamdi Azikiwe, who is known as the Zik of Africa, was able to set up NCNC, a National Council of Nigeria for the Cameroons, and also to unite Nigeria, which he was able to solve for the eastern part of Nigeria. We have Obafemi Awolowo, who is a political strategy. He formed the AG, which is the Action Group, and we have Ahmadu Bello, which formed the NPC for the Sokoto. Obafemi Awolowo was for the western part of Nigeria. Now, these leaders were people who were unshakable, and they made sure they ended the British rule that happened in Nigeria before the 1960 of the independence movement. Now, let's move to the constitutional reform. In as much as there was a lot of post-war that happened, the Biafra and the rest, this reform is served as what? A stepping stone that pushed the nationalists to make sure they hit their goal. Now, we now have the unity in diversity, and we are still striving for it, because looking at what is happening now, the Fulani herdsmen and the rest, we are still focusing on that unity. So I won't say we are perfected it here. Now, the October 1, 1960 is the dawn of an era. Imagine fighting against the fact that we no longer want the colonial people to rule us. We don't want them to take away our identity, our culture, tax us, and not make us united. We were able to stand our feet, and then there was a lot of celebration at the TBS in Lagos, which, led to Nigerians happy about the fact that our leaders, our Nigerian leaders, can take power and, fight for what? Good governance. And that is it on the historical part. I needed to do a summary, because I know when I was saying some people will probably need this level of summary. So if you want to learn more about it, you should book our 1-month class, and you will learn everything about Nigerian history, okay? And later on, like I said, we'll still go to international history, but I just want to cover everything about Nigerian history before we move to international history and any other African history that you want to learn. And don't forget to support us. And yes, it's a wrap on the historical series here with Ditavipe. And see you guys next series by the grace of God, where we talk about another historical content that you will love to learn. I look forward to sharing more insights on that, and thank you for watching to the end. And don't forget to share this video to let somebody learn more about Nigeria and everything that revolves around the nationalist movement and the independence day that happened. Okay, see you guys next year by the grace of God. Bye.